love to start with kind of new people that haven't joined us before. So Marisol, if you want to start first, you're first on my screen if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Marisol Goni. I'm the new, like Burke said, field rep for Vince Fong's office. Super excited. This is my first full week today. So really, really new. And just here to learn and help. So thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you, Marisol. Let's see. I'm looking around at Yadira. I don't think you've come to our collaborative before. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right?
Yes, that is actually how you pronounce my name.
Okay.
Well, hello. I am Yadira Vargas. I'm the Kern County Network for Children, and my title is Child and Family Service Facilitator. I will be hopping from collaborative to collaborative and just sharing my support to all the collaboratives within Kern County, and just listening to the great information that's going to be shared throughout.
Great. Thank you so much. And I appreciate, Yadira is someone that I can reach out to and for help with, getting speakers for the collaborative. So she's already been helpful, even though she's just getting started with working with the collaborative. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Let's see, who else is new? Ariana, I don't know if you are in a position to be able to jump on and introduce yourself. I don't think you've joined us before. I see that you're with GBLA though.
Hi, yes. One second. See her right here. I'll give her. So hi everyone, my name is Ariana Keels. I am the provisionally licensed lawyers here at GBLA. I work specifically with the mobile home advocacy project. So we handle a lot of different issues from just advice and counsel to full representation. And that could be compatibility issues, that could be for evictions, that could be just to help someone, with conversations with their landlord or mobile homeowners. So that's the work I do. And then Heather is also as well.
Great.
She helps with outreach and things like that. So Heather doesn't have to jump on it. She can do it.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Heather, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I also work at Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, and I am a legal outreach associate. So I've been assigned to the Mobile Home Advocacy Project with Ariana, and my role is more for presentations and outreach and finding these mobile home parks out throughout Kern. So that's kind of what we're focusing on, just information about mobile home resident rights and the mobile home residency laws that apply to them.
Great. Well, we do definitely have some mobile home communities up in the Fraser Mountain community, yes. So we appreciate that. Let's see, Shalise, am I saying that right?
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, we're just having some of the newcomers who this is their first time with us. So I'd love to have you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Shalise Smith. I'm the president of the local LGBTQ group out here called Fraser Mountain Pride.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. I'm trying to see who else. Daisy, are you in a situation where you could introduce yourself? I think this is your first time with us. Let's see. I'm not hearing you, Daisy. I don't know if you're. Well, maybe Natasha, I know you're new. Your name is new to me. If you want to jump in, and then we'll see if Daisy is working on her audio.
Yes, good morning. My name is Natasha Franklin. I am a new supervisor here at Clinica Sierra Vista in the DR department.
Oh, great. Oh, well, I'm so glad to have you. I actually had just emailed Yadira to kind of wanting to connect with DR a little bit more. So I'm really happy to have you and to connect with you. So thank you for joining us. Daisy, did you want to try again and see if
it is our first time?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, my internet isn't the best in my area, and I think the weather doesn't help it. So Good morning, Daisy Torres, Kern Family Healthcare. We are a managed care plan for Medi-Cal, and it is my first time attending. I'm very excited to see what you guys have going.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. And I have to shout out Kern Family because they give us a grant. We've gotten several grants, multiple years, just community development grants. So we're really appreciative of their support. I'm trying to see who else is new. So Adriana, you're going to present. So I'll have you introduce yourself when you present. But Ariel, I think you're new to me.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I didn't know how to download the app in order to get in here.
No worry. Yeah, it's okay. So I know exactly who you are now. I was just without your last name. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself. And
well, I'm Ariel. I'm actually from Bakersfield. I represent a new funeral home in town called Monarch Life Stories. So it's my first time here. I'm excited. We're just trying to get out into the community and spread the awareness and recognition that we're here in China.
Great, thank you. Jake, I know you're not new with us, but you weren't at our kickoff last month. So if you want to reintroduce yourself to some of the group and our new people.
Appreciate it, Lindsay. I feel like you called me out a little bit for not going to the kickoff last month.
Oh, okay. No worries. I understand.
No worries, no worries. Hey, everyone. Nice to meet you. Jake Lopez, work out of Bakersfield office for Congressman Kevin McCarthy. And part of the areas that I get to go out and represent include the Mountain Family Resource Center, the Fraser Park, Pine Mountain regions, Taft, Tehachapi, basically all of Southern Kern. So that's my job, to be boots on the ground for Kevin, understanding what's going on and try to find ways to solve problems and work together. So thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Jake. All right. Well, let me know if I missed someone who's new with us. I think I got everyone. And so what I wanted to do to start with, we're going to have a great presentation from South Kern Family Justice Center. But first, I wanted to, in October, when we voted on priorities for the collaborative for 2023, by far the top vote getter was mental health services. I think from all different angles, we're seeing mental health challenges. And so I wanted to start, this is not going to be the only conversation we have on mental health, but I wanted to start with kind of a little bit of the lay of the land. And so Jennifer Williamson is with our local clinic, and I asked her if she would share a little bit. And then I want, kind of an open discussion around things that we're seeing, the challenges, so that then the collaborative can kind of set some plans about what do we want to do to try to help alleviate some of those mental health challenges. But Jennifer, if you want to kind of jump in, introduce yourself and what you're doing, and then share a little bit about what you're observing.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Lindsay. Sorry for my voice today. My son has got me sick, so a little bit cold going on. But yeah, I work here. I'm the clinic manager and one of the therapists here at Clinica Sierra Vista in Fraser Park. We are, in case anybody didn't know, we are down here now inside of the medical clinic, which makes it a lot more convenient for us, maybe not some of our clients, but to get them the medical services as well in one setting. So for us, a lot of the mental health issues that we're seeing, and I'll break it down like from kids, adolescents, adults, older adults, because we serve anybody from 0 to however old we can get. So kids, we see a lot of more so behavioral as opposed to necessarily mental health. We do see some kids' mental health, obviously, but it's more behavioral, kind of your ADHD, a lot of adjustment disorders. Adjustment disorders can be anything new that's come up in the child, like maybe a move, maybe separation from a parent, a new school, something that's causing distress in the life. And with adolescents, we've been seeing a lot of depression and anxiety, a lot of self-harming, suicidal thoughts. Luckily, we do have a whole process and protocol for zero suicide. So we do have a whole protocol within our system, as well as we're contracted with Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery. And between us and their protocols, we have a good system in place. And I can say within our Clinica Sierra Vista, we haven't had an actual suicide in the past 3 years with all of this in place. So that's what we see mostly from our adolescents in the area. When you get into the adults, it's a whole array of things for adults. It's anywhere from the depression, anxiety, and that can be anywhere between the mild to your severe, hospitalizations because of depression, or other, mental illnesses. We have been seeing a lot more of like bipolar, a few more schizophrenia than we have previously. And those are more of your like auditory, visual hallucinations, paranoid, delusions. I wouldn't say we have a whole lot of that, but definitely quite a bit more than we've had in the past. And so we are getting, a bit more of those more severe. In our older adults, it's a lot of the same depression, anxiety, mostly because, people around them passing away, they're looking at their life, reevaluating things. So a lot of that depression and anxiety of what's to come and reevaluation of life on what have I done, what do I want to still accomplish while I'm here. So that's the wide array, and obviously within all of that, we do also see a lot of substance use, which I know is a big issue up here. And I know it's something that I've been pushing for to get, but unfortunately it's our, budgeting and county contracts, but that's kind of implementing hopefully in the soon future. Kind of why we moved down here as well, to have more room, a bigger space, so that we can eventually implement those services as well and get substance use services in here too. So I know that was a lot of information, but if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I put my email and phone number in there too, so if anything comes up later, feel free to email me, call. Yeah, and if there's any questions you have, Lindsay, or anything you'd like to go over further.
No, I mean, I think that was really helpful to just hear like what you're seeing most with the different ages. I invited Shalise as well. I wanted her to kind of share a little bit, because I know she's been working on getting some support groups going, and just share a little bit from your perspective of what you're seeing.
So from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of people in the mountain who are coming to me privately because they don't have a space to go to publicly and are too afraid to talk to the community, share their experiences. And I'm really trying to create a space where they can get together and talk to one another. But it's really hard finding that space, the actual physical location, and letting people know that they can reach out to people. And it's actually kind of heartbreaking, some of the stories that are coming to me right now about what they're experiencing, what they're going through. And I can't actually give any details about any of it because, I have to keep it all very private, but we really need a place for these people to go and talk to one another. Like, that is the number one thing, camaraderie, knowing that there's other people on the mountain like them, and they don't have that enough here. And the groups that I've been leading with the game nights and the social hours, it's too public for them. They're still too afraid to come, and they're talking to me privately still. And, having that space, I'm trying to compile a list of providers and people on the mountain or nearby, South Kern, that are open to LGBTQ people. I just heard a story recently of their dentist telling them that they have to find somebody else, another provider, just because their dentist doesn't want to use their pronouns. And it's really heartbreaking. So once I get all those resources out there, people, places where people to go and stuff, then maybe people will be more open to talk to them, things that they can't even talk to me about. But right now, that's just the biggest thing, is people are silenced.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you have a really busy schedule yourself, so thank you for taking the time to come and kind of participate in this discussion. And I'd love to open it up to also, you know, I know we have a couple people from the schools, and I know you see things with children and families. So yeah, just kind of open up to what are some of the mental health challenges that we're seeing in the mountain communities.
Well, I know specifically with the schools, there's a lot of confusion with the children. They're having arguments, and you know, then there's kids that are talking to their parents, then coming to me and be like, "What are we going to do about kids telling other kids that 2 girls can't get married?" These discussions aren't happening publicly enough, and they're not happening in the home enough, and it's creating a lot of discomfort for children who are just don't understand what's going on. You know, scientifically, you know, 1 out of 200 of the children in our schools have clinically identifiable variations outside of the binary. Like their physical being does not fit into one category or the other. And there isn't space for that. The teachers aren't understanding and making space for those children who are confused. They don't fit into what all these people are telling them they should fit into. I think the number one thing to support all of our children is for educators to educate themselves on how they can make space for the unknown. You know, they don't know which child in their class might be having body dysphoria issues or aren't supported at home and can't talk to anybody and are being told that they have to go into the boys or girls, whatever, and they're just confused and they don't have anyone to talk to. And I have personal experiences with some of the teachers on the mountain that are actually spreading misinformation about it and educating our teachers so that they can create that environment for our children to not be so confused is the number one need for our kids and in the schools for their mental health, is to just know that there's other possibilities out there and that what they're feeling is okay.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your perspective on that. I think with any kind of minority, it's important to like hear from them directly and understand what their experiences are. So yeah, I don't know, Corey or Sarah, if you want to jump on and share about any of the challenges that you're observing with the youth in your schools.
We definitely have a growing number of students, especially at the older ages, that are experiencing difficulties in that area. And I have to apologize. I actually had to run out and take a phone call and come back in. So I only caught the tail end of what she was just saying. So I apologize if I'm not addressing all of it. I do know that one of the things, though, because this is a brand new area, not only for the kids, but for the teachers also, like she was saying, and it is a brand new thing for everybody. So one of the things that we have set up is we have a training in May because we have professional development days built into our schedule. And we do have a training in May, actually, where Schools Legal is coming and doing a specific training as at least a starting point for the entire staff for El Cajon Unified. If on that specific topic, that area, and it's just a starting point, I know, but it is a challenge in a lot of different ways for the staff and the students. So I am really trying to be as proactive as I can, as the need does definitely seem to be increasing for understanding of those students. So just so everybody knows, we are really trying, and I already have it set up. It's in May, and it is going to be a starting training for the entire staff for our district, at least.
And we have a community schools grant, which means we service like all of the needs of our students in one location. And every Wednesday currently we have a restorative practices and trauma-informed instructor come out So he's open to speaking with anybody, and the kids actually can set up their own appointments, which I think is funny because he has a list now that's just like outrageous. And a lot of kids just want to hang out or talk or whatever. So I love him. His name is Dr. David Sandals. He teaches at Cal State Bakersfield and has his own company called Perseverance Education. And so he does a lot with the 5 domains for SEL. So we have that at our site also that was open to any kids in the district.
Yeah, and Corey did open that up also to the high school students. It takes place at El Cajon, so it's a little bit difficult to get high school students over there who might need or want that additional support. But once the community school gets rolled out to the high school and the elementary over the next couple of years, we will be able to offer that service on all 3 campuses, because he is amazing at what he's doing with the kids at El Cajon.
Yeah, I love that the kids are empowered to make those appointments, and also that he's in such high demand. It means that he's establishing such a good rapport. So that's awesome. Yeah, anything, I mean, today we're not like solving these problems or, you know, but I'd love to like just surface any other thoughts that you're having about what kind of mental health challenges that you're seeing that we need to have on our radar as we make mental health services a priority this year with the collaborative.
For Sarah and I, we feel like the senior class currently has had a lot of mental health issues, maybe surrounding being out of school for COVID. And
I would say, I don't mean to interrupt, Corey, but I would say the junior and senior class. We've had a lot of conversations about this, and our junior and senior classes at the high school are still really, really suffering from I think the age that they were at, not only their physical age, but where they were in school when it happened. For whatever reason with them, it's really still affecting them drastically, where the younger ages are coming back and, you know, getting back in the swing of things a lot easier. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. We're having a hard time to get them to even just verbalize and to pinpoint maybe where the feelings are around it. So I mean, for them, that they can identify that something happened and that they have all these fears and anxieties, but they can't identify to us the process. So it's been really hard getting them back into the swing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else want to share any perspective? My advocates, of course, are welcome to speak up too. You're working with people who are bringing challenges to the table. So feel free to jump in if there's anything that you're seeing as well. Yeah, and Jennifer, I was just going to ask you, since we've been talking a little bit about LGBTQ issues, is that something that you're, you have clients that are presenting like needing support around that as well? And how do you feel like your clinic is able to respond to that?
Yeah, it definitely is one of the issues that's being more so brought to the forefront. I would say as well within the kind of younger and adolescent ages. We do have a couple in the like adult, older ages, but it's more so in the younger and adolescent right now. And as far as our clinic, we do a lot of trainings on within that, gender dysphoria and transgender, and just a lot of development trainings on that. So we have a lot of knowledge, and we do partner with the Bakersfield. It's the long name. I always forget what the name is.
The Center for
it's Center
for Sexuality and Gender Diversity. Yeah.
We partner with them a lot too, and they're so helpful, such a useful resource for us to get information as well. And they do have advocates that come out to, that are outlying areas as well, that have come out to help us out, give us brochures, pamphlets, things for the clients as well. So that's a really big resource for us that we reach out to.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with their organization, so I wasn't aware that they had advocates that go out to outlying areas, but that's good to know. So thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, Shalise, did you?
Yeah, I believe just before the pandemic, the center was working with your clinic, maybe coming up here and setting something up. And I think that got put on the back burner with the pandemic. I was just wondering, is that maybe possibly happening in the future?
Yes, definitely. We've been in contact with them since, but yeah, definitely the pandemic has put a lot of things kind of out of order and priorities. But definitely, you know, especially right now, like I said, with everything coming more so to the forefront now that we're seeing clients in person all the time now. We're not doing any more telehealth or anything like that. I mean, as needed, of course, but everything is predominantly in person. So we do have that ability now to have the advocate come back out and to partner more frequently with that resource. Definitely.
Well, thank you all. Like I said, this is, and Shane, I see your comment about the Diversity Collective. So that's it. That's good to know about too. I'm not sure if, I haven't heard of them, but thank you for sharing that as well. So like I said, this is kind of a first discussion about, you know, some of the things that we're seeing, some of the challenges, and then we're going to follow up with talking about, you know, what do we think the collaborative can do? What, you know, either activities or initiatives or that can we do to help strengthen mental health on the mountain this year? So to be continued, but I want to turn it over to, am I pronouncing it right, Adriana, or?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. So if you'd like to introduce yourself and jump in. Now, were you going to share your screen or did you want me to share the presentation?
If you could share it for me, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So while you introduce yourself, I'll get started with sharing that.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Adriana Talamantes. I am the victim advocate here at the new South Kern Family Justice Center. I'm the only one here now, but we're hoping to get more people out here soon. Yeah, I've been working with the DA's office for about 3 years now, so I'm super excited about being here today and just being able to be here at the new center as well.
So sorry, I am almost getting it up. I'm having like a slight little technical hiccup, but I should have it up in just a quick minute.
Okay. So I'll just briefly get started. We did open our doors back in December. So we've been here for about 3 months now. It's been a little slow, but we're hoping, you know, for it to pick up. So we do work with victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. However, if any of you guys know of anyone that needs services with any other type of crimes, you guys could always send them over to me, and I'll be sure to get them referred over to an advocate downtown with the Victim Services Unit. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here at the South Kern Family Justice Center, our goal was to bring together the knowledge and the resources of all the communities around to help ensure victims get resources and assistance they need to recover. Okay, so on site, we do have 4 partners right now, which is the Open Door Network. We have child support. We actually have a kiosk. We don't have a person here, but we have a kiosk to get them connected. We have Líderes Campesinas as well. And of course, the District Attorney's Victim Services Unit. Okay, but we do have multiple partners off-site as well. One of them being the Kern County Sheriff's Office, the Arvin PD, Taft PD, and also the Kern County Probation Department. We have Department of Human Services, Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, Adult and Aging, Dress for Success, Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, the Women's Center High Desert. Of course, we work with the courts and the Bakersfield Sink Women's Association as well. Okay, so we are able to refer anyone to any of those agencies if they need assistance, of course. We are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to about 4:30, depending what the court closes, because we are inside of the courthouse. Okay, so we are inside of the Lamont Courthouse on Main Street. So we pretty much work with our hours. And our phone number is there if you guys want to take it down, is the 661-868-5820. That's our main line. And if you want to move to the next slide. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this to you really quick. Assistance and support to victims and families, and there's no appointment needed, okay? So we take walk-ins. Like I said, I'm here 8 to 5, so anyone's going, you know, more than welcome to come in. The South Kern Family Justice Center serves communities in Lamont, Arvin, Taft, and Fraser Park. Through collaboration and coordinated services, we are committed to providing victims and their children the help they need to break the cycle of violence. Now, some of the services that we offer, and this is pretty much when they come in, they fill out what's called an intake form, okay? And these are the services that are on that intake form. But if anyone else has any other type of needs or, you know, any other requests, they're more than welcome to bring them up to the person that's going to be helping them, and we could get them connected, okay? So like I mentioned, we have CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal, child support assistance, civil legal services, advocacy, counseling, criminal court advocacy, housing assistance, shelter referrals, immigration assistance, report to law enforcement. One thing that I want to bring up, I know this is a district attorney's, you know, facility pretty much, right? But if anyone comes in here, they're not obligated to talk to one of the district attorney's advocates, okay? So we do have advocates from the Open Door Network, and they do hold confidentiality, so they're able to share anything they want to share with them. Just because they come in here, it doesn't mean they need to report to law enforcement, okay? But if they want to, we can get law enforcement down to the facility for them to make a report, okay? We do assist with restraining orders, protective order assistance, substance abuse and recovery, information, and support groups. Okay, so that's pretty much it, all in a nutshell. I know it was super short. Does anyone have any questions?
I might have missed it on the slide, but did you have the contact information for possible referrals?
I'm sorry, I barely hear you.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there it is. That's what I was asking, if there was contact information. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so this is our contact information. There is a 24-hour crisis hotline as well. I know our hours are 8 to 5, you know, business hours, but they do have that number they could call in case, you know, of an emergency. We do have our email there as well if anyone has any questions. Myself and another advocate are in charge of checking that email, so it would be one of us reaching out. Okay, and like I mentioned, right now it's going pretty slow. I'm actually the only one here now, like on site. We are waiting for the other partners to move in, but we are hoping and praying that we get more people out here and, you know, the community finds out a little bit more about it and we're able to assist as much as possible.
I had a question for you just to talk through a little bit more. I know Open Door Network is one of your partners. For those in the collaborative that aren't familiar with them, they do both, you know, shelters and domestic violence, you know, case management and things like that. So kind of what I'm wondering about is shelters are obviously a huge challenge. Just having enough beds, there's not very many shelters in Kern County. But do you have any kind of housing assistance or emergency assistance that wouldn't be, because I mean, the other challenge we face up in our community is, yes, they want to kind of change the situation, but also this is their whole life is being up in our community and they don't necessarily want to go to a shelter in Bakersfield. The rest of their support network is up in Fraser Park area. Do you have any type of housing assistance that isn't going to a shelter where there may not be beds, or, you know, potentially someone doesn't want to go that far from their support network? Or is it primarily just like the housing assistance is the shelter?
Yes, Lindsay. So primary would be the shelters. It wouldn't be through the Open Door Network. However, we do work with the state, with the California Victim Compensation Program. Okay, so that is another option they have. The only thing with that is that is a reimbursement kind of program. So if they wanted to move within their community and, you know, they found a place to live and they were able to move out, you know, and relocate, the state can assist them with a reimbursement. So that's often not what we go for first, you know, because it's not ideal. A lot of the families are trying, you know, they don't have the funds to move, you know, and things like that. So that is one of the options we have, but primarily would be going to the shelters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other questions about the New Family Justice Center that's closer to us?
Sure. Yes, I have a question. Adriana, thank you for presenting and your work. We appreciate the DA and her strong position on this and what she's doing for the community. Can you talk about why Lamont was chosen as the location to open up the office there? And are you hoping folks come from like the rural outlying areas, Maricopa, Taft, Fraser, down to that location? Hoping you can talk a little bit more about why that location was chosen.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Bakersfield, we have our main office, right? And we were getting quite a bit of people coming from Lamont, okay, and coming from Arvin and Fraser Park, but that's just too far for them, you know, and it doesn't seem a lot of the community here. One of the issues that was brought up to us often as advocates was transportation, okay? And obviously as advocates, we can't really go get them, you know, when they need the assistance, only when they have court hearings, etc. Right? So that was one of the main issues, transportation and just making sure that they felt safe. I'm a Spanish speaking advocate, so I get to speak a lot with the Spanish speaking community, right? And they've shared with me, even feeling safe. Going to Bakersfield a lot of the times is not, they don't feel safe going out there. They'd rather stay here within their community. So that was one of the big reasons why. And we want to make sure that we're close and we're available and they don't feel like there's no assistance for them out here.
Yeah. That reminded me, because I went to your grand opening, of course, so I enjoyed actually getting to tour the location, and you guys have done a great job with especially that waiting room area, lots of books for kids, and you know, it was very, very, very nice. But I was wondering, it reminded me, I think we talked, it was mentioned when I met you there, that, and I don't know right now if you're the only one on site, but that for our up in Fraser Park, that there would be times where you might be able to travel or potentially, I'm trying to remember the conversation, but like maybe help with, you know, bus tickets down to that location. And I was just wanted you to talk for a minute about, you know, because Fraser Park to Lamont is still quite a ways, especially when gas prices are very high. So talk a little bit about that, like servicing Fraser Park area from Lamont and how you envision that.
Yeah, so just depending on the situation, okay? I know the Open Door Network is able to go pick up clients and bring them, whether it's to the shelter or down to the facility here with us. With the district attorney's office, it's a little bit different. However, I do have a county vehicle, so if it was necessary, I can go and pick up clients as well, okay? We do have gas cards that we are able to give out to the community as well. So it would be kind of a, you know, it would be every case, you know, it's different. So we would have to kind of discuss every case and just see what's the best, you know, the best way to get them down here.
Okay. That's great to know. And for those who don't know, the Family Resource Center, we also have a small number of gas cards that we can use to help when someone's in a crisis situation to help get them to where they need to go. So yeah, other questions for Adriana? Well, thank you so much for sharing about this. And it is great to have that resource a little bit closer to our community, although, you know, we recognize there's still that that distance that is a little challenging. But thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you so much. I do want to ask you guys, what would be the best way for us to get out there, as in letting the community know that we're here? What do you think would be the best way to do that?
So that's a great question. I mean, I think that there's one thing that we are, and we have a lot of collaborative partners that join in this. In June, we have a kind of park day / resource fair that the Family Resource Center puts on. And some people come and do a booth where they have a little activity that the kids can do while they talk to the parent. So that's one thing that the Family Resource Center and a lot of the collaborative partners do in June. So that's kind of upcoming. Awesome. It is definitely tricky in the winter because as we're seeing right now, sometimes if we plan events in the winter in person, they just have to get canceled or pushed. Yeah. So at least for the MCFRC, we go a little bit, do Zoom and don't do as many in-person things during the winter because the weather can be so unpredictable. So, but that June Resource Fair Park Day is definitely one that I'd love to reach out to and have you come up for. There is also commodities every Wednesday, people kind of waiting there for food. So they'll get a number and kind of wait. And we sometimes, the Family Resource Center, we go over there and kind of go around talking to people while they're waiting for their food at commodities. But yeah, I would love to just see if other people have ideas on, how they could, what are some good ways to reach our community a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you.
If anyone else has those are some things that came to my mind right away, but let me jump in if there's anything you can think of that would be another helpful way for them to make that connection. All right, well, yeah, I'll keep brainstorming though, and if anyone thinks of something, and we'll definitely, but I love having this connection with you, so we'll keep that going and pass ideas your way. So,
thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you again for coming. So now before we wrap up, we like to do this kind of roundtable time where people can share news, events they have coming up, anything that they would like to share with the collaborative. Feel free to, you can put flyers in the chat or just share. Yeah, Daisy.
So thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that we are still accepting applications for our community grants program. We did up them this year, so now you're able to apply up to $4,000. And we are accepting applications until March 17th. They are available on our website. My contact information is in the chat. And then I can also share it with Lindsay so she can share with all of you guys. But if you guys have any questions, I'm here to help. And then, I do think that day at the park is a fun idea. But I mean, if there is ever any other event or we can even help collaborate if, that's something that you're wanting to do and maybe putting on an event. So just let me know.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daisy. We definitely, the Family Resource Center, we're working on an application for that community grant right now. So we really appreciate that. Thanks for coming and sharing that. Yeah, others who have things coming up. I know, Jennifer, you have, you wanted to share a little bit about some changes you have at your clinic, right? I was excited to hear that.
Yes, a lot of good things. Now that we moved down here, we're kind of trying to get everything situated and get some more things in place. So we're going to be starting in next month, which is next week. Seems so far away, but so we're going to be starting walk-in assessments as well. So it'll be every Wednesday and Friday, and somebody can come between 8 and 9 in the morning. Sign up for the walk-in for that day. We have assessments right away. If somebody comes in, we'll get them started right away with an assessment. So yeah, I can put those flyers in the chat for English and Spanish. So Wednesdays and Fridays, 8 to 9. And we'll have assessment times throughout the day with our therapists so they can get more easily access to care. We will also have appointments still, so if that doesn't work for somebody, we're definitely not taking away appointments. We want to access care more easily to people, but still keep it, whatever our clients need, we're here to serve it. And I'll put those in the chat for everybody. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, and I will definitely send that out in my follow-up email as well. But yeah, I love the expansion of like some walk-in and be able to serve people more immediately. So that's really great for my advocates to know as well. Yeah, Ariel, I know you had wanted to share a little bit, and I don't know if you know how to put it in the chat, or I can send it out in my follow-up email as well.
No, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. As I said earlier, if anybody missed it, I represent Monarch Memorial. It's a brand new funeral home in Bakersfield. We are a sister location from Peter's Funeral Home and Arvin chapter in Wasco. So, our management has been in the industry for about 50 years. We just moved to Bakersfield though. So we are hosting a free luncheon next month, March 14th, from 11:30 to 12:30 at Wiki's Wine and Dive on Ming and Buena Vista. And we are going to be presenting a brief presentation on the benefits of pre-planning funeral services. It's always very important because it's just something we're all going to go through. So it's always best to just get informed on how to get those arrangements taken care of ahead of time. So that's a free luncheon that we're hosting next month. I was talking to Lindsay about that I do want to go out to Fraser and do something there, a free luncheon as well, because I know transportation in Bakersfield is pretty far. So if anybody could suggest me like a restaurant there or something, we can start organizing that. Obviously, probably next month or in April when the weather's a little better and people want to go out. But it's always good. But to go back on your mental health theme, we do actually have a lot of pamphlets that talk about the loss of loved ones. There's pamphlets on specific situations and scenarios like the loss of a child, loss of a parent, grandparent, sibling. Those are always good to have because sometimes, especially if it's your first loss, we don't know how to handle that. So those are always a good read. If anybody wants them, I can mail them to you, take them to you. They're always helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ariel. And I will share your flyer in my follow-up email as well.
Okay.
And we'll work on something for our community too. So, Shane, yeah, jump on in.
Good morning. My name is Shane. Hi, Lindsay. My name is Shane Meserve. I'm with an agency called Give an Hour. We are a national nonprofit in the mental health space. I am based in Ventura County, hence the Ventura County Diversity Collective resource. But I grew up in Bakersfield, Foothill High School grad. So love working with Kern County as well. So the grant I'm working under with Give an Hour is benefiting the survivors and family members of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. So the shooting in Las Vegas in 2017, which we just passed our 5th remembrance of that. It's kind of amazing. So 58 people lost their lives in that event, still the largest mass violence event in US history. 4 of them were actually Kern County residents. So that's a pretty big percentage of folks from one incident to have lost. That's a big loss for Kern County. So I just wanted to say we are still here. We are providing support groups for that population. We have a Wednesday night group for family members or loved ones of someone that was affected by Route 91. We have a Thursday night support group for survivors. And then we also have a peer support network as well. So we have trained peers that are interested in helping folks one-on-one, which is not therapeutic in nature. It's just that principle of peer support. So if you have anyone in your service that's affected by Route 91, would love to have your reference on that. We also work with the borderline population. So that's the shooting that occurred in Thousand Oaks 1 year later. So if you have anybody in your service who's affected by that as well, you can let me know. I'd also, Adriana, love to connect with you on, I was just in a training yesterday for the new FJC that's going to be opening in Oxnard over the next year or two, their second location in Ventura County. So I just spent 2 days with the originators of the FJC model. So interesting.
Okay.
Cool to meet you. And also curious about any events around Victims' Rights Week in April. If there's any events that that we could be of support on, I'd be happy to take a drive up and go to Dewar's while I'm there, or Smith's for cookies. Those are my 2 stops I always have to make when I'm in Bakersfield.
Definitely.
So if you have any events that you'd like some support on, or we can come and provide some materials, would love to be supportive of that. And I'll put I think I put our website in the chat box, but I'll put it again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep going with others who are on. I put a couple things in the chat though that I wanted to mention. I shared this at the last collaborative that Fraser Mountain High School College and Career Fair is coming up on March 15th, 8:30 to 10:30. And they are looking for people to represent, different careers, college. So they would love that support to help open the students' minds to different career and college options for them. And then Greater Mountain Pentecostals, they're doing they reached out to me. They're doing an All Nations Sunday, a community event. Unfortunately, I didn't get the exact time, and hopefully they said the weather permitting, but they're going to have singing, speaking, food from a variety of countries representing. They have quite an international group of congregants up in Fraser Park that I didn't know, about, that we had some of those populations. So I shared that in the chat as well. And then just while we're on the subject of mental health as well, and Ariel reminded me, our library is still doing every 3rd Tuesday a grief and ambiguous loss support group. So a great resource for those who have lost loved ones or are struggling through that. Yeah, Shalise.
For the Pride community out here and what we plan to do. We have, so the 4th Thursday, I believe, 4th Tuesday. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up. At the library, we have Rainbow Reads Family Storytime, where we choose an LGBTQ kids group, or kids focused book that basically just opens up talk about different types of families and diversity and a little bit of gender diversity, but that's more something that we take outside to talk about outside of that group. But we also have the game nights that are happening on the 1st Tuesday of the month. But what I really am working hard to do is create actual peer support groups on the mountain for the LGBTQ community. And we are now fiscally hosted nonprofit. So we are trying to take donations so that we can rent the rec center, because we have explored literally every other possibility of a space to use. If there's any way that anybody could possibly give suggestions or help on where this community can meet in person, we're open to that. But yeah, peer support groups on the mountain for this community is our #1 goal right now. So hopefully we'll be able to add that to a calendar here pretty soon.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. All right, who else? I don't think I saw anything else in the chat shared, but what other? Oh,
can I say one other thing? Sorry, I was just going to jump in on what is it Shaylise? Am I saying that right? Okay. Just so that she knows, I guess also for anybody else, they did some of the students in that community at the high school campus did start their own club that they do meet every day at lunchtime in a specific teacher's classroom. And it seems to be going very, very well for them. And there are a lot of students starting to congregate towards that classroom at lunchtime. So it's giving them a safe, comfortable environment for them. So just so that you know, at the high school, at least, there is a specific club for that group of kids.
That's awesome. That's one of the your students had come to me last summer and wanting a GSA. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to find a facilitator for that. So I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it is up and going.
Awesome.
Great. All right, any other news, events, anything that you want to share?
I just want to say, if you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to Assemblyman Vince Fong's office. We want to be a resource for you guys. Reach out. I put my email, my phone number. We can set up a meeting, chat with your needs. We just want to be a resource. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you, Brooke. Thanks for coming. Well, great. Anything else? We do have a couple of things for coming up. Weather permitting, we have our coffee chat next Tuesday at the MCFRC, hosted. The Fraser Mountain Church gives us space to use. Yeah, that'll be February 28th, and I will throw that flyer into the chat as well. And that has grown, and we're reaching some new parents. You know, we wanted it to really reach beyond just some of our clients, and so that is growing. So we're really excited about the work that Maria and Jessica are doing on that. And then the other thing that I mentioned, the last collaborative, we are currently interviewing for a paid internship opportunity with the MCFRC. The goal behind this program, it's a paid internship through Kern Community Foundation, and we're one of the nonprofit sites that they identified as they wanted to start reaching throughout the county rather than just Bakersfield. And you know, one of the goals is to reach young adults 18 to 30 who maybe they were former foster youth, or maybe they've had involvement in juvenile justice system or in mental health agencies, or come from low income backgrounds, just to help that population to get more job skills, support, mentoring. So I threw the flyer for that in the chat as well. If you know of an 18 to 30-year-old in the mountain community that has an interest in kind of public service work, nonprofit work, spread the word on that. And that's all that I had, unless anyone else has other things that something else that they wanted to share. Well, thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Thank you for everyone that was a newcomer this week and jumping in to share your agency or your perspective. I really appreciate that. So thank you all for coming.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, have a good one.